Hi, this is Luz Rosales presenting you my speech today on April the 12th, Happy Easter, for my persuasive speech. Today I'm going to talk about something that may be a little uncomfortable for us. It doesn't make me uncomfortable at all, but it might make you uncomfortable. And I do apologize in advance if it does make you uncomfortable. Today I'm going to talk about how children are in cages. And when you ask children in cages, isn't that child abuse? Well, how does it make you feel when I show you this picture of a child in a cage? Does it make you feel angry? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you want to reach out and help? Well, this child is in a cage because he got taken away from his parent while they were crossing the border here to the United States from Mexico, seeking asylum from the violence that there is down there. According to AP News, they state that the recent government data has showed that there are 69,550 immigrant children held in U.S. government custody over the last year. Today, I want to talk about conditions of the facility, trauma that these children endure once they're taken away, and long-lasting effects that these children endure. I'm the most credible to share this topic with you because my mother and father are from Mexico. They came to this country with nothing and they raised me and my brother, and they did something. I couldn't imagine having been taken away from my parents and not seeing them or being in terrible conditions like these children are. Now, let's start with the conditions of the facilities. I'll show you the next picture. This is one of the facilities in Clint, Texas. And this is how these children sleep. These children don't get a blanket. These children don't get mattresses. These children don't get to sleep in a comfortable bed like me and you. These children are sleeping on the floor in mats. They're sleeping on the floor on mats, and they're using covers made out of aluminum. How can you even say that that's okay for a child to sleep on a mat on the floor in aluminum? Now, Clint, Texas, the detention center in Clint, Texas, according to Laura Anastasia, she did a journal article called Border Crisis Alone and Afraid. She stated that Clint, Texas Detention Center was built for 100 people, and it currently holds 700. Now, these kids go through extreme cold temperatures, meaning that these facilities are not temperature regulated. So that's why you see the kids under aluminum covers. Now, U.S. law has held these children more than a year when they should only be held for 20 days, meaning that in the same article that Laura Anastasia wrote about border crisis, Alone and Afraid, she stated that these children were only supposed to be held in facilities for 20 days, but yet again were held for more than a year. Now, the other picture that I showed you, the very first picture, is of a child crying in a cage, because this is how they hold them, in a cage. Now, how moral is that? I don't know. I could never watch a child just be in a cage. The next topic I'm going to talk about is trauma that these children endure once they're taken away from their parents. In an article written in Time magazine, 1,800 families have been separated since the late 2016. Out of them 1,800 families, more than half were separated for at least 1 to 2 years. Now, these kids also go untreated for medical conditions. They get to the facilities and they're not being accounted for. They're not being treated. So a lot of them have died. There have been children that have died while in ICE custody. ICE is the immigration. ICE custody, they have died. Now, also the thing that happens is they have long-lasting effects. Long-lasting effects whenever they have been taken away from their parents. They're not just taken away from their parents by here, let me take him and let me put him over here for you. No, these children are ripped, pulled away from their parents while they're screaming at the top of their lungs. Now, can you imagine how you would feel if your child got ripped from your arms? right? There was a article that Allison Noof wrote in a Brown University about an adolescent letter. She says that most of these children suffer post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideations long after being given back to their parents. So while they suffer while they are in custody, because of course they're away from their parents, they're away from what they know, they're away from relatives, they're with people they don't know they're getting taken care of. But after they're given back, the damage has already been done. I can only speak from me being a mother. I could not ever stand or trust ever again after somebody had ripped my kids away from my arms. Now, these children go on to be adults that have this ideation in their brains that they're going to have separation issues for the rest of their lives because most of them have endured being taken away. So that feeling of always being taken away is going to be there. And that's why it's wrong and immoral for children to be taken away from their parents while in detention and immigration custody. Although I do realize that being an illegal immigrant and crossing the border is wrong, it is also wrong for children to be taken away from their parents, and that's why it should not be done. I hope that after everyone has watched my video about how immoral it is to take children away from their parents, they will change their mind next time they see the news and see that these children are still getting taken away from their parents, excuse me. Most of us are parents and we feel awful when our kid falls on the floor and needs a band-aid. Now, can you imagine how awful it would feel for your child to be ripped out of your arms? I don't think it would be a good feeling. So please think about it next time. And if there's ever a law that you can sign or something that you can vote for to stop this, please do me a favor and stop children getting put in cages and children getting taken away from their parents. Have a good night, guys.